Do you need to stop gas right away?
I think so, because yesterday Roy said it was like 100 miles.
Boy, it sure felt good to be back on the motorcycles again after a little bit of a pause and rest. So we're going to have a lot of fun on this trip. Gord's kind of in charge of the planning on this trip, so he's going to take over today, where we head northwest through Florida and eventually into southern Georgia before we cross the southern portion of Georgia and then back to Daytona for Bike Week. So join us as we get back on the road again today. Gord and Roy caught up to Sherry and I at Hernando, Florida, which is just north of Inverness, Florida. We'll be working our way to the northwest today. We are heading north on State Road 41 towards Denellen, Florida, where we'll take a side trip. At Denellen, we travel west on West Denellen Road before turning north to the Withlacoochee River. This ride along the river back to Denellen was well worth the side trip. The Withlacoochee River originates in Georgia and flows to the southwest before emptying into the Gulf of Mexico. The Withlacoochee State Trail is 46 miles long and is the longest paved rail trail in Florida. The roads along the river twist and turn with scenic views of the river and live oaks overhanging the road. This side trip only took about a half hour and was one of the day's highlights. From Denellen, we ride to the northwest, skirting along the informally named area of the Big Bend. This area is so named because of the geographic change from the Florida Panhandle to the Florida Southern Peninsula. We will be riding county roads for a while as we skirt along the Goth State Forest. Goth State Forest is known for its population of the rare red cockaded woodpeckers and longleaf pines. Near the north end of the Goth State Forest is the Black Prong Equestrian Village. We stumbled into a horse and buggy competition which was fascinating to watch. The competition consisted of the team maneuvering through coned obstacles for time. What a joy it was to watch the team as they expertly navigated the cones. A quick internet search shows that they have different competitions based on the type of carriage. It was such a beautiful area that we decided to take a break there. This was really cool and worth stopping to watch. The Black Prong grounds were professionally groomed, and I'm sure this place is renowned in the equestrian world. What a great place it was to take a break and relax before we headed back out onto the highway. We passed by the BK Cypress Log Home Manufacturing Plant. The grounds included an old sawmill, which looked fascinating as well as dangerous. Here we are riding across the Wakasasa River on our way to Trenton, Florida. Even though we've been on pavement, we're riding through a less populated area of Florida, giving us a view of yesteryear. In Trenton, Florida, we passed by this way cool Gilchrist County Commissioner's facility. Isn't that a neat building? After leaving Trenton, we head north on County Road 341 on our way to Brantford. The Suwannee River originates in the Okefenokee Swamp in South Georgia, but has become more well known from Stephen C. Foster's song, Suwannee River, which dropped the U from its title. After crossing the Suwannee River, we continue north and through the small town of Brantford, where we cross the river once again. Late in the afternoon, we ride through the quaint town of Mayo, Florida. Mayo had an old town country feel to it. From Mayo, we head to the northwest, staying far east from Tallahassee. We don't want to get into any of that traffic. It is clear that we are headed into a more populated area as we approach the I-10 corridor. We pass under I-10 on our way to Madison, Florida. In Madison, we turn west on State Road 90 and we pass through Greenville, Florida on our trek to Monticello. The town of Monticello, Florida has a ton of Southern charm, and its courthouse is modeled after the Thomas Jefferson's estate. Monticello has many historic buildings, including the Old Jail Museum and the Perkins Opera House. If you are an American Indian history buff, you should visit the Letchworth Love Mounds Archaeological State Park. We are on the day's final stretch as we approach Thomasville, Georgia, our resting place for the night. Here's Gord with the map description.
Yes, hi, good morning everybody. Welcome to day 3. Now, we never did the day 2 talk because we had a long, horrible day. Well, it wasn't that horrible, it was just hot and humid. We found ourselves at the beginning of yesterday's adventure, starting out of Floral City, which you can see at the end of my pen here. You can see where it is relative in terms of the Florida state situation. We sort of paralleled the coastline. We went past a nice little town called Dunellen. There was a beautiful scenic road near the water there. We carried on up to the north and slightly to the northwest, passed through a lot of small towns. We saw some really interesting scenery. We got into some really nice canopied, treed roads. It was a warm day, but it was a successful day nonetheless. We intentionally stayed off the major highways with the view of, just proceeding at our own pace. And then as we transited past the I-10 interstate, which you can see running left and right here, we paralleled that and finally made the state line in Georgia. And just a little short hop, about 220 miles total from start point out of Floral City. We ended up in Thomasville, Georgia for the night, and it was a great day. We're looking forward to tomorrow.
Once again, when we got to the hotel last night, it was pretty late and dark outside, and we were all exhausted, but we made good headway, and we've made it here to Thomasville, Georgia, where we'll continue. So I hope you liked the video. We'll see you in this next episode.